All praises be to the Most High. Welcome to Global State of Mind. I am your host, Garnet, along with my cousin JD. This week we have an awesome episode. As usual, I want to start off with a word. You know what I mean? You guys, I've been noticing in my life personally, like I tell you guys, I'm not on here to try to get you to follow my way or be like me. Same thing with JD. Global State of Mind, we're not here for that. We're here to enhance critical thinking. So when you hear me come on here and preach stuff and preach ideas and preach thoughts, these are my thoughts and my ideas that I'm working through, you know what I'm saying? These aren't thoughts and ideas that you have to necessarily follow or believe in. But when you hear them, think about them, because most of my thoughts are I'm thinking about life or how to enhance or how to be better, you know what I'm saying? So when we say things on here, you know what I'm saying, you might not agree with everything that we say, but it comes from critical thinking or something that we believe is be right. So as you watch Global State of Mind, remember that. We're trying to give you information that you can take using your daily life or using your life period to enhance your critical thinking and the way you live, while we're doing the same thing too. So don't forget.
After that, just want to say we're also here.
Hold on, before you say that,
go ahead.
You ping that subscribe button. Don't forget, number one thing, man, before you get off here, man, if you watch for 10 seconds, if you watch for 10 minutes, if you watch for the whole half an hour, if you watch both episodes this week, hit that subscribe button. Tap that
like
thing.
And share.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. I know y'all don't agree with everything we say, so leave a comment. And if you do agree with everything we say, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. We're trying to reach more people, like I told you guys before, so stick with us. We ain't going nowhere. Get on the bandwagon now, because later on, the bandwagon might be too full for you. You feel what I'm saying? Don't get left in the dust. JD, man, how you doing this week, cuz?
I'm good, family. I'm good. You know, I mean, hope everybody out there is good. Also, what I wanted to say earlier is that one of our main goals is also to spark conversation, you know, yes. And we're talking about various topics that the general population or the public don't
human beings in general
want to approach or want to talk about. Well, we're here to start those conversations, have the conversation going, so we may have an exchange, have an understanding of each other's perspective, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
And learn
everything.
From it.
Every solution is within a conversation. So let's speak about it. Comment, like, share, subscribe. GSM, we out here.
We out here. GSM, baby. This week
is
good.
To be like somebody, be like Mike, or probably Musk. Alright, so anyway, me and Garnet had a conversation, or rather a debate, a few days ago, on the topic of, colonization, and we really wanted to share
the podcast.
Yeah,
and we talk about this stuff too. Yes. For real.
And we just wanted to share our different point of views and opinion on the whole historical event of colonization with y'all, you know what I mean? We really want y'all to comment on this topic, you know what I mean? Share your ideas. Just a small input before we get into the conversation. I just want to say, when it comes to history, there are factual things, events that take place, you know what I mean? Some of which, we really can find this information in valid sources. When I say sources, I'm talking about I don't know, for some people it's Wikipedia or books or things like that. But the source of information is very important when we're talking about history, because as we all know, based on sources, historical facts may differ from time to time. So these type of conversations.
They say history is written by the winner, us.
Exactly. So these type of conversations are always interested based on that fact, number one, and also point of view and opinion based on the historical fact that we'll be discussing. Obviously, today we're going to be talking about colonization, how it affected Africa, the African continent, of course, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, Garnet, how you want to kick it off?
Well, for me, I want to put a disclaimer out before we start this. There's nothing in this world more than I love than being black. I wouldn't want to be anything else in this entire world. I think I'm the coolest motherfucker on the planet. You know what I'm saying to you? First of all, so with that being said, I'm also a historian. I'm also honest. I'm also factual, and I can't deny shit when shit is the way it is. So for me, when it comes to slavery and people looking at slavery and people looking at the colonization in Africa, they have to look at Africa. You know what I'm saying? They have to look at the fact that slaves were sold by black people. We sold ourselves into slavery. You see what I'm saying to you? We didn't, and a lot of black people find that hard to accept and hard to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Let me see, Beck. Let me see. I don't usually do notes, but this is a very important topic. And I don't want to get any information wrong. I want to give you guys the information right. You feel me? Now, the king, what's this king was again? King of Benin. The king of Benin.
Oh, okay.
Which is not part of Nigeria, had allowed major slave trafficking in the early 16th century. After 1530, the king of Oba could see that this was spreading the kingdom of his male manpower, and he banned the sale of slaves. Now, in Africa, in these times, if you know histories, kingdoms are what were in control of Africa. They had kingdoms or fiefs, if you use the English term, you know what I'm saying? And these kingdoms were huge. Africa is a humongous continent. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is just me taking from history and using my common sense and my logic and reading stuff and putting the one and the two together. White people didn't come from Europe and come off this ship and come on African soil and just start kidnapping black people. It wouldn't have worked that way unless they brought armadas of ships and they brought thousands of them to come off this boat and just start attacking African people on the coast and just kidnap them. Yeah, they could have got one or two if they brought the guns and they shot enough people and scared enough people. But the Africans are natural warriors. They had to fight to survive in Africa. So you gotta like I said, you just gotta put it together.
Hey, you better get it out. You better get it out.
You gotta put it together. There's no you can't knock me. I'm telling you history. You can't knock me. I'm telling you what the history said. You feel what I'm saying to you?
Okay, so what you saying?
You ain't gonna. But here's what I'm saying to you. So a lot of black people create this thought in their mind that, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way it happened, and we were kidnapped and we were taken away. No, we were sold by our own. Slavery was something that was going in Africa. Africans enslaved Africans, first of all. There were slaves in Africa. Morning books. There were slaves in Africa that Africans had as slaves. They would go to a tribe, take all that tribe, and the whole tribe would become slaves. And then they'd sell those slaves too. So when they came to Africa and they saw this, they were like, well, we want some slaves too. And they bought into the slave trade, and the African kingdom started selling them slaves. Did they go on slave raids to villages? Yes, but these slave raids, according to history, were led by Africans that were helping the white people go to other tribes to capture these slaves.
Garnet, look.
So no, hold on. So with that being said, what I'm saying to you, when it comes to slavery, I'm not even one iota of slavery will I ever have any kind of agreement with. But I want us as people to change our concepts, how we look at it. It is not solely the white man's fault for enslaving us. It's also our fault for selling us. You know what I'm saying? We also saw ourselves as inferior and superior to each other. And because of that inferior superiority feeling we have for each other, we thought one of us was lesser than the other, and that lesser one could be sold into slavery because he was lesser than us. So I'm not saying forget one part, and I'm not saying add one part. I'm saying you must combine both parts when you think about it. You get me, people? So that's what I'm saying to you. Don't look at it like I'm trying to say, oh, this part because this happened. What I'm saying to you is, in history, you must remember, history is written by the winner. So the winner is going to have the biggest part in the biggest, the biggest part written in history. But the loser ain't. So you got to look at the loser side and the winner side and see both of them. So as we start this conversation about colonization, I want you guys to have both these concepts in your mind. Is that one side is that we sold ourselves, two side is that they enslaved us.
All right. First of all, what I wanted to say, I'm going right back in the beginning of what you're saying, of what you just said, right? Remind me, what was the year? It was 16 what? You told me what? That the Benin King?
In Benin is 1530.
1530.
Yeah.
1530 to what year?
1550.
Approximately. 1530 to 1550, right?
By 1550, there was no slave trade in Benin except for domestic slaves. Those are the king of Benin kicked in domestic slaves.
That's what 1650, right?
Congo also saw the same thing because Congo was also selling slaves to the British sellers that came over.
Let me get to that.
Yeah.
First of all, let's start out with Benin. This is the thing about history, right? This is the thing about history.
Yeah.
Benin, I don't know how you pronounce that. Benin or Benin?
Benin.
All right. This is the thing about history. It is very, very easy when you're speaking about history to use a situation or an event that took place, right, to prove a certain point. But that's not history. This is the thing. When you speak about history, hold on. No. Come on, bro. I just start speaking. Come on. When it comes to history, it's very important to put things in context based on situation, the current generation, and how things used to work then. In the 1600s, the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, there, the African continent, based on, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but based on my knowledge, there was no foreign invasion on the African continent until the 1800s. Number one, right? So the first invasion came in the 1800s. I think it was
invasion of. What do you mean invasion? Are you talking about invasion or colonization, my man?
Invasion, colonization.
Because there was never an invasion. There's never been an invasion of effort.
Hold on, let me get to that. I'll prove to you that there was, but I'll get to that step by step. Take it easy. So you're telling me about a historical fact that has nothing to do with colonization, because yes, in Benin and in the whole African continent, if you go back in context and in time, the situation was what? Every tribe was ruled by a king, right? Of course, when there was war between one tribe and another, the winning tribe took the losing slaves of the losing tribe, which they used them to work or trade or whatever, right? That was the context. That was within the African continent, from one tribe to another, right? That is true. That was the case then, right? Was that the same thing in Europe, in the Western countries? Go back in history, find out for yourself.
Listen, brother. This is the one thing that I'm very well depth on. Listen, this is the one thing that I'm very well briefed on. Slavery is something that's been going on since the beginning of time. It did not begin with the white man and the black. Exactly. Slavery is something that's since man opened his eyes and saw there was another free man. He's like, I want him to do my work, and I don't want to do no work. They've been popping niggas over the head and saying, "Come do my shit, bitch. Do work, and I'm gonna go sit down." So slavery ain't nothing new.
No, but the difference is when it comes to the African continent, slavery number one came through conflict. My tribe was at war with your tribe.
No,
we go to war.
Slavery was a trade. What are you talking about? I didn't come through.
It was also a trade.
On the African continent, slavery was a trade. They actually sold their own black people, and they went and captured that slave and put them and sold them to Muslims. What are you talking about, bro? Slavery was a trade. It wasn't come to no conflict. It was a trade. It was actually slave traders.
Once again,
millionaire black slave traders.
Take things into context. Go back into history.
It wasn't a conflict. There were slave traders. They went and kidnapped people specifically to trade them, not for no conflict. They would go seek a village out, and they literally not no old warriors or soldiers. It'd be kidnappers. It'd be all niggas. Go kidnap a bunch of all niggas and sell them, nigga. It wasn't no conflict.
What year was that? Put it in context.
In the 1500s, it was a trade. It was not
in the 1500s. Come on, bro. Look at your history. In the 1500s, that wasn't the case. Slavery. There was slavery, yes. Who were the slaves? The losing tribe were the slaves.
No,
yes,
that's
hold on. When you trying to tell me that I'm the king of a tribe,
but you don't know history, my youth.
I'm asking a question.
You don't know history, my youth. You do not know history. I don't want to come on here and tell this.
Let me ask a question. Are you saying that the king of a tribe took his own people and say, okay, you, even though you my people, we're going to sell you for slave? Was that the case? That's what you're telling me? That's what history says? Yes or no?
Slavery was a trade. was a trade.
Okay, no problem. But is that what you're saying? Are you saying that the king of a tribe sold his own people? Are you saying that the king of a tribe sold his own people? Yes or no?
Slavery
yes or
was
no,
a trade.
Answer the question, bro.
A business.
Answer the question.
Slavery was a trade and a business.
I don't disagree. But answer my question. Are you saying that history says that the king of a tribe sold his own tribe for trade or for whatever purpose? Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
Slavery was a trade and a business in the 1500s. What they did was actual slavers, actual slave, because I will not be dumb. Being stupid is not something I like being a part of.
It's a simple question.
I will never participate in stupidity, and you're being stupid. Now, what I'm going to say
is
it's
a simple
slavery.
You can't answer.
You will answer. You don't let me talk or not. What you want to do?
Yeah, but
you want to talk. You want to keep on asking me the same stupid question. Or you want to
No, it's an important question.
No, it is not. It's a stupid and immature question that you're asking me.
No.
Now, what I'm going to say is this. Are you going to let me talk or not?
Yeah, but you have to answer the question. Answer the question.
I don't have to answer the question. I'm answering the question. I want to answer the question. Like, I'm going to answer the question like I want to. Slavery was a business.
Mm-hmm.
A business. That very kingdom, that king, he hired slave traders. He allowed slave traders to exist in his kingdom. They would go and get slaves, kidnap whole villages, and sell them in that kingdom.
Was that his village?
It did not come from any conflict.
Pertaining to his kingdom?
It did not come from any conflict. It did not come from any conflict.
Oh, it did not?
No, it did not. It came from business. I make gold from selling these people. That gold supports my kingdom, so I'm allowed them to sell slaves in my kingdom. What are you talking about?
That's called business. Kingdom.
It's called commerce.
Where those people of his kingdom?
It's called commerce. But it's called commerce.
Where the people who is selling is people in the kingdom or not? That's the question is simple.
Listen, Rasta. I'm gonna read it to you again because I'm a man. I don't participate in stupidity.
Okay, read it, and then try to answer the question.
The king of Benin had allowed major slave trafficking in the early 16th century. After 1530, the king of Oba considered this draining the kingdom of male manpower.
What? Repeat the ending?
This is facts. Now, I'm not sitting here arguing with you. You say you can't argue. You say it's for facts. This is facts.
I'm saying repeat the ending, bro. I can't hear. I didn't hear. Repeat the ending.
Oba could see that this selling of slaves was draining the kingdom of male manpower, and he banned the sale of slaves. He didn't ban the sale of slaves because he didn't. So, this is what I'm saying to you, cousin. I'm not telling you or trying to explain to anyone that slavery was ever okay, or that what the British people did or the white people when they came over and slavery was ever okay. I'm trying to say there's two sides to the story, and for anyone to be ignorant enough to only know one side and believe that side, it puts you in the same boat as that racist, stupid motherfucker. That's what it does. It makes you.
What do you mean by that?
It makes you as ignorant as a dumb racist ass motherfucker that's running around screaming out racist thoughts. That's what that does.
What are the two sides? What are the two sides?
When you only know one side of the story and abide by that one side, bro, it makes you ignorant. You must listen to both sides and then come up with your own opinion based on both sides. That's how critical thinking works, bro.
Okay, and based on what you're saying, if I understand clearly, right? If I understand what you're saying clearly, what you're saying is that
when you look at history, it says, listen, you get your question answered now. Now we can't switch it up now. Try to go up with another question because the question got answered. Your question was simply stated. Was he selling people from his own kingdom? Yes, it says right here in history fact. So what do you say?
So he was selling people from his
own kingdom. What do you mean? It says right there. He stopped selling.
I didn't hear it. I asked you 5 times to repeat the ending. You didn't repeat it, bro.
The reason he ended slavery in his kingdom between the 1530s and 1550 was because he was draining male manpower from his kingdom.
What's the source of that?
I mean, the source, nigga, history.
No, that's important, bro. History.
You know what you sound like? You sound like a critic.
The source is
what critics do when they've been found to be wrong about something is they ask more questions.
It's important.
So that way that the first question that was answered now becomes null and void. You move on and try to loosen the argument. The thing come from NBC. The thing from the story of Africa.
Where you're reading it from, you have a source. You have a website,
story
right?
of Africa. News from the deep. Listen, I'm gonna tell you where it comes from. And if you argue with this, because we're not discussing nothing no more. It comes from BBC,
No,
the story
I want
of
the source.
Africa.
I can go ahead and do my research after. That's why I asked for the source.
No, it come from
information from the
BBC.
bullshit.
It's come from BBC News, the story of Africa.
BBC News story of Africa.
Yeah.
BBC News historians.
BBC.
I have no idea. But anyway,
BBC.co.uk. Listen, the website for all the people who want to check out the website. The website is called BBC.co.uk. Go check out the website. It has it on there, the facts and things on there. But like I was saying,
I'll definitely check it out.
like I was saying, because I'm not trying to tell you that you must separate, that you must have one way of thinking. What I'm trying to say is, as you talk about the subject of colonization of Africa, I've talked about the realization that Africa was allowed to be colonized by us.
All right. Here's what I have to say.
You must define as you talk about the subject. So, listen, people, my suggestion. When we're talking about colonization, I want y'all to recognize this: is that there's two sides to it. One side is that yes, them come over there and enslave us, and two, we sell us. So as we go to colonization, think about it in that way. There's two sides to it. It's not just a one side, it's a two side. JD?
All right, this is what I have to say, right? Because for me personally, and I'm going to be very, very honest, people.
Yeah.
When it comes to colonization, it's not something that you can simplify into two factors. We sold us and they sold us. Or we sold us and they bought us.
But on the grand scale of things, bro. See, this is where people complicate things because they try to make it too much. When you simplify things, the basis of everything in this world is good and evil.
Yeah.
Simplify. I'm talking about. See, this is I try to live my life very simplified because when you complicate it, too much bullshit come into your shit. Good and evil. At the end of the day, everything is situated under these two things, and then under this umbrella, everything falls from underneath it. The way you live life, the way you dictate. You feel what I'm saying?
No problem.
So you cannot, simplified version, everything. Simplified version of something, explanation, the simplified version of explanation of a problem is the best version in math. It's the way they use.
We're talking about history, not math. Hold on, let me get some off. Because there has to be a general understanding of how this colonization and really started. As if we don't understand that part, we won't understand nothing and we won't get a clear perspective of nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me get into it because Garnet is forgetting a lot of important aspects when it comes to colonization. Important aspects, right?
No, I'm not forgetting them. I just haven't got into them yet.
Let me talk, cuz.
I haven't got into them yet. But don't speak for me. I'm not forgetting nothing. I just haven't got into the aspects.
I'm talking for me.
You said I forgot aspects. I didn't forget aspects. I just haven't got into the aspects. I'm giving a disclaimer before we start.
Let me get into the aspects that you didn't get into then.
Yeah.
Cool with that?
Yeah, get into the aspects.
First of all, one thing was clear. I made that clear earlier, even though Garnet didn't answer some of my questions. Anyways, I made some clear. There was trade. There was slave trade that did exist within the African continent, within Europe, all over the world.
Over the world.
Slave trade existed from the beginning of time, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to European slave trade, get this perspective and this understanding, right? How did this begin? How did Europe decided to invade the African continent?
Europe did not invade Africa. My youth, they went over here and they met the kings, and the king said, "Yes, you can buy slaves from us."
Hey, bro, you're gonna let me talk, or you want? No, for real.
You can't tell wrong history facts. You're not
Garnet,
gonna just
you want to let me talk,
or
you're gonna let me talk, or you're just gonna cut me after a sentence?
But you're spinning wrong facts. I'm not going to spit wrong facts, and you're telling people wrong stuff. Europe did not invade Africa. Europe came over on boats and met kings.
Hey, keep your point of opinion for yourself. You can check the facts. Listen to what I'm saying before you cut me off, because otherwise you're not gonna get the point.
I know the facts.
You have the facts of what? You cut me off before I finish my sentence, bro. Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead, my bad.
How did the colonization of Africa began? In the 1800s. This is the history. You can check it. Everybody out there. In the 1800s
is when they came to Africa to colonize it.
You wanna let me finish? In the 1800s, there was a European reunion. I forgot the exact name, but you can check this out. In the 1800s, I think it's between the 1830s to 1850s, somewhere around that, right? Yeah. There was as a matter of fact, I think it's mostly between 1850s to 1860s, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and this was formed in England, not in Africa.
I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about what happened in Europe now. Yeah. How did they colonize? There was a reunion between different European nations in Berlin to discuss
Yeah,
African lands.
how to divide
African
Africa.
land. How to get African lands,
How
right?
to divide? They
That was
divide in that meeting. They divided African land between themselves. I know about that meeting.
all
They
right,
divided
right?
Africa between themselves.
Before then, absolutely no African countries or land pertained to was owned by a European country. Before that date, there was, check this out. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Talking to everybody. There, after that reunion, the first major European movement on the African continent, there were two first. Not first one was the, I think it was King Leopold from Belgium that invaded Congo, and the next one was I don't remember which king. It's probably Italy that invaded Ethiopia, I think. But it was after, it was the following up of that meeting, right? Those were the two major invasions, the first two, right? And of course it had England that came in, Portugal, France, a whole different other European countries that followed behind that. Now that was the main objective of colonization. They went there to get land. They wanted to colonize land. King Leopold, do your history. This guy is like Africa's Hitler. When you speak about the amount of countries, tribes that he annihilated, completely killed people just like that, right? So this was the beginning of colonization. So they went there for the land. What took place? Let's be honest about what took place now. Were there kingdoms? Because in that time there were African kingdoms, right? Were there kingdoms or tribes? Call them what you want. Were there tribes or kingdoms that sold people? Yes, that did happen. Were there African countries or tribes that stood up and fight and won? Yes, that did happen also. Were there African countries and tribes that stood up and fought and lost? Yes, that did happen. A lot of a number of approaches were made from the European point of from the European strategic point of view and from African point of view. What the Europeans did was they came to colonize through military conquest, religion, a lot of different strategies. In Africa, these were some of the things that were put in place to defend their territory. The diplomacy. At times they went and tried to speak to the European armed forces to try to find a solution, right? Military forces. Yes, there were a lot of battles. Some African countries lost. Some of them they won, right? What was there again? I think there was like 4 or 5 something like that alliances were also formed between different tribes, right? Now take this in mind. Africa is a huge continent, right? So the unification of how people would think that Africa had to unite in one big force to to fight colonization, and this wouldn't have been the problem. Wrong. You have to there's a lot of things to take in consideration. Africa is the biggest continent in the world. There are hundreds of thousands of different tribes, different languages, different cultures, different religions. In Europe alone, the whole European continent can't unite couldn't unite when fighting Hitler or any other country in any other world war. Don't expect the same from the biggest continent in the world. But there were alliances that were formed between different tribes in order to fight the intruders or invaders, which were these European countries. All of this took place during colonization. All of these wars were fought. All of these negotiations were done. It's the whole aspect of things, you understand? And you have to take things in consideration. When you talk about colonization, you have to take the whole thing in consideration, because it's a big picture that you have to look on. It's not one-sided. It's not two-sided. There are many different phases, and that's important to understand.
I see the difference. I see what's going on is you are not what I'm giving to you. Mm-hmm. You gotta shield up, and you're blocking it because you're interpreting it incorrectly. I'm not telling you there's one or two sides to anything. What I said before I started talking is I'm giving you a disclaimer before I start. I'm gonna tell you that while you think about colonization, before we start talking about the topic, you must know these facts. The fact is that one, slave trade was a thing that happened. It was a business that we allowed as a people, as black people in Africa. And yes, they did do slave raids and all that stuff, which were led by Africans. Yeah, so as you sit here talking about, like, I'm trying to make it 2 aspects of history, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. How can history? But as you said that, here's the craziest thing that you said for that whole thing. You said, you can't use one situation in history to decide this. But then you said history's based on situations and facts. But hey, listen, all I'm saying to you is this, cousin. For colonization to be possible, in fact, here we go again. The simplified version. This is for me. I like the book for dummies. So I'm gonna give you the for dummies version. If me and you have a piece of land, right? Your family live on the land with you. My family live on the land with me. Your family got 9 people. My family got 15. I fuck more than you do. You know what I'm saying? So we got more kids. We deep. You know what I'm saying? We planning over here. You planning over there. But we family though. Cause we mix and mingle. We talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Your third cousin married my third cousin. So now we family now. We planting the land. We growing the land. We doing our thing. But your land's your land and my land's my land, right? You getting the concept? You see what I'm saying? Is that you catch that?
Yeah.
All right. So boom, we living on the land together. We living
from 2 separate tribes, right?
So we living on the land together. We living on the land together. Centuries pass. You know, me and you pass. Our family done become more. You know what I'm saying? But it's your land over there and it's my land over here. But we still do our thing. We support each other. One year your corn's low. I shoot you some corn. You shoot me some back neck. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This goes on for however long. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, out the blue, here come a motherfucker that we don't know. He come through, bop you over the head, skedaddle you up out of here, and all of us just watch it. That's fucked up. They got JD. Okay, that sound normal?
In the case that you
no, I'm saying right now. No. I didn't ask you for nothing else. I didn't ask you. It's like I gave you your answer. You asked me, did the king sell people in his kingdom? Yes, he did. He sold people from his own kingdom. So I'm not asking you an answer, but I'm asking you a question.
My answer is, in the case that you just explained, hell no, it's not normal.
Okay. So boom, same scenario. All that happens. Dude comes through with a boat of people, says to me, hey, listen, bro, if you slap them over the head or show us where they hide all the people at, we'll shoot you this. But we just want them for slaves. We don't want you for slaves though, but we want them for slaves.
Can I ask a question? Are you doing a simplified version of your perception of how slavery?
No, this is history, bro. This is from the BBC. This is from the BBC thing, bro. This is not my perception. This is facts. This is not my perception. This is the facts of what happened. This is the facts of what happened. This is the facts of what happened. So do you want the facts or you don't want the facts?
To compare to history.
Do you want the facts or you don't want the facts? What do you want me to talk about? Because I'm giving you the facts and you're fighting the facts. So what you want me to talk? You want me to make some shit up?
Incomparable, bro.
You want me to make some shit up? You want me to make some shit up? Because I'm giving you facts and you arguing the facts. You want me to make some shit up then?
That's not facts. What you just said is an example of what you made up. They're facts.
So hold on, I'm giving you my example. My example is bullshit though. Why? Because it's not good. Because it's not filled with a bunch of aspects.
Doesn't represent history.
What do you mean? I'm not giving you a history. I'm just talking to you. I'm asking you a question. A scenario. I'm not talking about history. I'm asking you a question. But see what it is this. See what it is when people know that their argument is weak. They tend to want to slam everything inside of your argument as quick as possible. Let me finish talking.
No, you're giving an example. I'm asking you a question. Why are you comparing your example, which is not historical, to a historical event?
Who's comparing nothing? I'm giving a scenario and asking you a question from the scenario, and which you didn't let me finish.
But did I not answer? I answered your question, right?
No, yes, I asked you a different scenario. You would let me finish the scenario. You answered the first question, but I'm still talking. So you let me know when you want me to go ahead and finish my scenario.
Go ahead, as long as you make it clear that it's separate from history. Because what your example what you're trying to do, Garnet, wait, and this is a problem. This is why you can't simplify things, right? Because your example goes in one direction. It's simplified, but it's in one direction.
I just like you said, listen, you know what's crazy about this? You just told me why, listen, hold on. You just told me why you were talking to stop cutting you off because you wanted to get your point across. And you can't get your point across because I won't fucking shut up and let you talk. But as I'm talking, here you come, you're not letting me finish my point. And you're still talking.
Then for a second example. Of course,
which one is it? Which one is it? Is it let a motherfucker get his point across, or is it not let a motherfucker get his point across, cut him off and be rude? Which one is it?
All right, look, check this out, right? You went into a whole example.
You still ain't shut up yet. You still ain't stop talking and let me talk it. You still ain't shut up and let me make my point. That's what you told me to do. You said shut up and let me make my point. And you still ain't shut up and you still talking.
Make your point.
You're still talking.
I'm telling you, make your point. What's your point?
So boom, they come and they say to me, hey, listen, we want to enslave them, but we don't want to enslave you. We know that's over this your land over here. You feel what I'm saying to you? If we enslave half of them, you want to have some more land, and we're going to shoot you some gold, G. What's up? Can you help us? Hell yeah, I'm going to help you come through. Bop, bop, bop. I'll go over there and have them kidnap like 20, 30 of you motherfuckers. They bounce out, right? Is that normal? Is that what you would think would be acceptable behavior from two people that have been mingling and mixing for centuries? Just because there's different land and different land ownership or different tribe? Is that what you think is a normal reaction to that?
That's a question? Or are you making a point?
Is that the normal reaction? Is that something you think is a normal reaction? If I should sell my homeboys that's been over here for years, centuries with me into slavery. Is that something that sounds rational?
I'm waiting for the point that you're trying to make.
I'm asking you a question. Does that sound rational?
I answered that question like 10 minutes ago before you even.
Okay, does that sound rational? Yes or no?
I told you no. I answered that 10-20 minutes ago.
Okay, so yes, that's not the answer. That was a different question I asked you 10 minutes ago. That's because you're not paying attention. You just waiting to answer and talk.
It was a different question, but as I said,
you were now you're gonna tell me that I'm asking. Okay. So since it was the same question twice that I asked you, here's what I'm saying.
What's the point?
Here's what I'm saying to you. For colonization to be a factor, it had to be allowed. A whole entire continent. You cannot say that, Africa was so huge that they didn't know about each other. Everybody knew about everybody in Africa. It's something that had to be allowed.
Bullshit, bro. That shit was not allowed. Stop lying.
If me and you are living in this area and they come off a boat and me and you say, no, you got us fucked up. Nobody in here getting sold to you for slavery.
You see, you're coming back with your example, and that's not what happened. That shit wasn't.
Who came back with my example? I gave you a different example. You're not fucking listening. You just want to talk, nigga. What are you talking about? Who came back with a fucking example? I said, if me and you live in the tribe and they come attack us, nigga, they're supposed to sell each other. We're supposed to fight them together. What example is that? That's not the same example.
Go back in BBC. What year was that?
Listen.
Go back on your BBC because
if you want to argue or if you just want to knock points, that's different.
1600s, right?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to argue and knock points, nigga. I want to either teach you the right way or learn the right way. But you're just talking bullshit right now, my nigga.
Everybody, please comment. Y'all heard what he said. Y'all heard the example he gave on
I didn't give any fucking example, my nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? I said it's two tribes. I didn't bring the same fucking example in again. I didn't bring in the same fucking example. What the fuck are you talking about? I said, me and you are living together and they come to kidnap one of us, we should fight them. That's not the same fucking example as I just gave. Let's use me and you as a tribe together. But all you're doing is just listen to answer and talk.
Garnet.
But listen.
I said that did happen.
Listen to what I'm saying. So why do you make it seem? Why do you make it seem like this is something that wasn't allowed?
Because it wasn't allowed.
How the fuck? How was it not allowed, bro?
You want
You're telling me that the colonizers.
These people want to colonize our land. Let's go ahead and sell them some slaves. That's not what happened.
You're an idiot, bro. That's exactly what happened.
No, that's not what happened.
You're an idiot, bro. I hate to say it. And we're on TV. I don't like calling people names, bro, but you're being idiotic right now. That's exactly what the fuck happened. They sold slaves to the motherfuckers that was colonizing Africa. What the fuck are you talking about? Slaves built the fucking colonies.
Garnet,
Yo,
look,
son,
everything we
Listen,
discuss,
listen,
you
you're
can
crazy.
find in
You're
written.
crazy.
Everything
You're
we discuss,
crazy.
you can find in
Listen,
written, bro.
when they
Right?
colonized
You'll never
Africa,
find in
when
written.
they
You'll never
colonized
find in
Africa,
written
we
or
sold them
anywhere else in
slaves to
history
build the colonies that were going to be
something that says
colonized with.
um
That's in history.
colonization.
That's in history.
Colonization.
That's a
Africa.
fact.
What you did? Wait, I don't even remember what you said. What you said? African countries allowed colonization. That's what you said, or accepted. What's the term that you used?
Oh my
That shit's
goodness.
so absurd, bro. How the hell
Listen,
you can even
Do you
conceive that
think that
idea?
enough people came off of ships to scare Africa and make Africa say, yeah, we all scared of y'all. Y'all brought 1,000 people off ships, but we're on a continent with billions.
Number one, Africa is a continent, not a country. Number
So,
two,
man, what are you
no.
doing? Listen,
let's get it fast. Number two, hell no, that's not what happened. As I stated earlier, a whole heap of different fucking African countries stood up and fight. They were
no, a
wars,
whole
deadly
heap
wars,
of African
blood
countries
master
didn't stand
war.
up and
You
fight.
understand?
No, that didn't
Also,
happen.
something that you may need to consider.
No, that
to get
didn't
these
happen. A
lands.
whole heap of African countries did not stand up and fight. That did not happen.
Yes.
And that's in history
Yes.
proven.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, they did
The
not.
biggest fucking
No,
African
they did
tribes
not.
stood up and
Stop
fight.
lying to
Shaka
the
Zulu
people.
tribe.
Stop
The
lying to the
Shaka
people.
Zulu
Name
tribe
four.
fight against the
Name
British.
five. Name
The
five.
Ghanaian tribe. I forgot what the name of the
Come on,
Ghanaian
man.
tribe
Stop the
is.
foolishness.
A whole
The
heap of different
majority of
tribes.
Africa did not
What are
fight.
you talking about, bro?
The majority did not fight. The minority fought. If the majority fought, it would have never happened. What are
Garnet,
you saying, my youth?
the majority got massacred. The minority that could fight fought.
Oh my
That's
God.
what happened.
Wow, you just said the
That's what
majority of African civilization got massacred by the white people during colonization? Is that what you just said?
That's exactly what I just said. A lot of
Okay, listen, we
lot
have to
of
stop
tribes were
this. You do not know history.
A
and
lot
we're-
of tribes
I'm
were
not
massacred to
gonna be in a
get those land.
conversation
I'm
where we're
telling you.
giving wrong information,
Go
bro.
back in history.
You're
Check out
giving
the
out
truth.
wrong information, and I'm not gonna allow that to happen, bro. Not on my watch. Didn't no
Garnet,
fucking bunch of Africans.
Garnet,
The majority of
Garnet,
Africans like
everything I say,
what the
you can
fuck are you
check. As I
talking
say
about?
to everybody, listen, everything I say, don't take my word for it. Go ahead, check it out. Listen to what Garnet is saying. Go ahead, do your researches. You'll see for a fact because information is
The
out there and it can be
majority of
found.
Africans were not massacred by no colonizers, bro. What are you talking? You know how big Africa is as a continent?
I know I'm
Majority
talking. I ain't talking
Africans were
about
massacred by colonizers.
Tribes. I'm not talking about the whole continent. I never talk about Africa in a whole.
You said Africa, man. That's exactly what you said. You said Africa.
African countries, tribes, land. You understand? A lot of African tribes.
Speak clearly.
Annihilated. You
Now
understand?
you're changing what you said.
A
You
lot
said
of African
specifically-
countries.
Remember, this is
also stood up
recorded.
and fight.
This is recorded.
Those are the facts.
This is recorded.
Those are the facts.
This is recorded. You just said prior,
Those are the facts
Africa.
and-
You said
Check it out.
Africans were the majority of Africans were massacred. That's what you said. This is
I'm
recorded.
telling you now. You're
you're
listening?
switching
I'm
it up.
telling you now.
So now you're switching
I'm
it up.
telling you now.
So now you're switching it up.
And in any case, I give a real clear, detailed explanation of what happened in it, during the colonization. So y'all just gotta go back to what I said in the beginning, and you have it. That's what really happened.
So now you're switching it up.
100% clear
So now you're
and
switching it up.
simple. You know what I
So
mean?
listen what I'm gonna say to you again.
I'm not switching up
Listen what
none.
I'm saying
going
to you
back
again.
what I said in the beginning. That's
A heap of tribes, a heap of people, a heap of nothing didn't fight nothing in Africa. If a heap would have fought, colonization wouldn't have happened. Because they could have not fought. Let me finish. They could have not brought enough people off those fucking boats if a heap of Africans fought. Them motherfucking Africans was over there eat, nigga. So if a heap of Africans fought, they'd have to bring damn near the whole population from over there to bring over here to do that. This is
What are you talking
madness.
about?
So for you to even say the
When you say
majority
heap of
of
Africans,
Africans was
what
killed
are you
by
talking about?
colonizers,
You know
sounds
how
so
big Africa
fucking
is?
crazy.
You know how big Africa is? What do you mean when you say a heap of Africans? I'm talking about tribes.
That's what you said. Those were the words you used. You said a heap of tribes fought.
Yeah, because a heap of tribes. Many
Okay,
tribes
listen,
fought.
fam.
That's the truth.
When you use the
A heap
word
of tribes
heap,
fought. Many
when you
tribes
use the
fought.
word heap,
It's English.
that means a shitload, a whole lot, a bunch of motherfuckers. That means motherfuckers came together. Listen,
Hold on.
they would have to land
Because
every
that's the
single fucking slave
Motherfuckers did come together. Tribes did come together. I said that in the beginning. It's history. You can check it out.
It was not a heap. It was never a heap.
It was never a heap. It was a lot of tribes.
It was not a lot.
Hold on. Do you even have the idea of how big an African tribe can be? Take two examples.
You're making yourself sound silly now. So you're telling me.
Do you know how big
okay, listen. How big a tribe is? How big a tribe is?
The Zulu tribe fought against colonization.
How big a tribe is? No, stop, man. How big is a tribe? How big is an African tribe? Real big, right?
Huh?
African tribe, real big, right?
There are real big African tribes.
Real big tribe, right? Real big tribe. So you're telling me say a real big tribe of Africans, 3 boat land with 200 man at most. Them kill all of the big tribe. You see how stupid it sound, man? I'm saying pardon up. I'm saying pardon up, man. This is what I say. I say 200 man come up on the boat and kill a big ass tribe of African people. With them say, you say I don't know tribe. Well, you know. Africa, everybody have a war when the African tribes and them have a specific warrior sect. You see me? Soldier sect. So if them have a big tribe and them have a big warrior sect too, you know. And then again, everybody in Africa at that point in time had to know a fight because it was a warring state. So hold on. So you serious that you might a 200 man to come off of the boat and capture. Listen to them.
I never see 200 man come off of the boat.
It had to load
that many. Listen. No, I don't even know why I'm arguing with. I ain't gonna argue with you, Garnet. Let me talk to the people because they might understand. And by the way, we have to after this, I think we're gonna have to take a break because we're kind of going overboard. Anyway, Europe had advanced weaponry. Number one.
Oh my God, that is not no fucking. You want them to go them have to take some.
I'm talking right now.
Listen, but I want to know about speed.
I can't argue with you because I'm not going to argue.
Goodness. Okay, so the one shoot that will explode and shoot with that. Okay.
The European military had advanced strategies, which was
advanced strategies. And African soil, which they never fought on before.
They did it through religion.
Oh my goodness! What is this foolishness?
Colonization was done through different aspects, different strategies.
Colonization was a law.
Military was one of them, and an important
colonization
one of them.
Was a law.
A lot of African
colonization was a law.
It wasn't allowed, contrary to what Garnet said.
Colonization was a law.
You can, but
me not make nobody come in my backyard and knock off my neighbor.
Yo, look, bro. That's you. If somebody come in your backyard, we'll see what you're gonna do, right? No, we can't be speaking at the same time. Let's have some kind of.
That's not what I said. You're not even listening to me. You just want to talk. Bro. You're not right. You're wrong.
I'll give you a chance to speak. Let me say my final words. And then
you didn't give me a chance to. You cut me off through my whole entire talk.
Bro, you was talking for like I don't know.
I was talking. Okay.
I'm saying I'm just giving out some information. Not you personally because you have all the information you know.
No, I'm trying for both of us to learn in the situation. You're not grabbing that aspect.
As I was saying, colonization, the invasion took place on different angles.
There was no invasion. Stop using that word.
There were big African tribes that fought and won, and there were big African tribes that fought and lost. These battles went on for years. That's the historical fact. You can check it.
That is not history. Slaves started through trade. They came off the boats. They approached the kings. They approached the rulers, and they said we want slaves. And they traded each other to the slave traders and sold them.
Bro,
that's how slave trade started.
We heard that 100 times from you since the beginning of the show, bro. Come on. Let me talk.
So stop saying about it. There's no invasion. It was trade. There is no invasion. It was trade. So stop using the word invasion. Stop giving that wrong information.
Garnet, if we're gonna have this conversation, bro, you're gonna have to. You know what I mean? I take time.
That don't feel right now. That don't feel right when you're trying to talk to somebody just yapping at you the whole time, huh? Not good.
Listen.
Okay.
When you're talking,
so you listen till you felt like stop. You listen till you felt like stop listening. Not till I was
done. When you get into your examples, you
go ahead.
For like
say what
10
you're saying.
If I don't cut you,
go ahead. No. I didn't. You listen till you. You listen till you were finished listening. You didn't listen till I was finished talking. There's a difference.
I just said that when you get to talking, you go ahead for 10, 20 minutes. Let me not exaggerate. You go ahead for 5, 10 minutes. I can't let you go ahead with your example for 5, 10 minutes. I have to intervene and let you know.
Go ahead.
When I'm talking, I'm not here for 10 minutes. I'm just getting a point across. That's it. Okay. And I shut up. So what I'm saying is that it took places on different angles. That's the way we got that across, right? the advantage that European forces had, they were more organized because, as I said earlier, it was a reunion between all of them, right? They were more organized, advanced weaponry, different strategies, right? Not every country came in directly and said, oh yeah, let's kill all of them and we want to colonize it. Some came with religion, some came with a lot of different things. You can check this out in history, people. Don't take my word for it, once again. So it was a big aspect, right? There were big African tribes that fought. There were a lot of African tribes.
There were not a lot.
A lot of African tribes really stood
there were not a lot of African tribes that stood their ground. Really, there were a few. There were some.
A lot of African tribes.
A few African tribes
came together. You understand?
A few African tribes came together.
European forces. That's factual. You can check it out.
Check out the tribes came together.
Name exactly. Check out the Zulu tribe. You will see that the Zulu tribe joined forces. A lot of the big tribes really what they did.
A few tribes joined forces.
Joined forces with smaller tribes. You can check this out. Don't take my word for it. Just please go and do your research.
A few tribes, not a lot.
So unions were formed, alliances were formed between African tribes, and they fought.
Yeah, a few of them did.
That's it. I'm done. I don't know if Garnet wants to say something else before we close out, but I'm done for now.
Listen, my point has been clear. My point has been clear as day.
And don't forget to comment and do your research.
Stop talking or you don't stop talking. You just said Garnet got something to say, and then you kept talking. Which one is it, G?
I just closed up. What are you talking about? I told him.
You just said you know that Garnet's got something to say, and then you kept talking. So I'm like, gonna get something to say, or you gonna keep talking?
Did you hear what I just said, Garnet? I said like, share, and subscribe. Garnet got something to say. I'm gonna let him say it. You went in, so you didn't even hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's your problem.
The problem is that right now, what I'm trying to say to you is the whole thing is this: it was allowed, and I'm not going off no assumptions. I'm going off facts. There weren't enough colonizers to come up a ship to invade Africa ever. They came, they negotiated for land, they stole land too, but it was allowed to be stolen because these lands were in kingdoms. So like I said, colonization was allowed. Slavery was allowed. Slavery was a trade and a business at first, and they went too far and they end up enslaving about 50 million Africans. You feel what I'm saying to you? So from the beginning, like I said, people, none of this shit to me is ever going to be good. I hate it to death. But I'll never look at a story and just look at one side because that makes you bigoted. When you look at one side of the story and only go by one side of the story, it makes you a bigoted person. It makes you ignorant like that racist person. Yes, racism was something that was an act that was done upon us forcibly, but it was also an act that was allowed to happen in Africa by other Africans too. So as we close out, I want you to remember that. Don't just sit here and be no bigot idiot and just say, oh, this is, and this is why they, no, it wasn't only by force. It was allowed because the African continent is too big. There's too many people in Africa for these people to come from where they at and not bring all day people there to invade us. Listen to that, invade us. If all of Africa as a continent wanted that to stop, or all the kingdoms or all these tribes, the numbers would have been impossible. No matter how many guns you had and all, you're fighting on the African soil if you don't even know how to fight. And the African native is a native of this land. He knows how to fight on this soil. Not only that, you're encountering animals you've never seen before. Animals that eat you. Hippos. Hippos are mad dangerous. So you're sitting here saying to yourself, no, I just want you to think about it logically. Remember, I tell you guys, critical thinking is what we do. Think about it logically. The numbers from there to the numbers to there. For it to happen, it had to be allowed. I'm not saying that it was right. I'm not saying that side of the story is wrong or this side of the story is right. I'm not trying to tell you my side is right. I'm saying there are two sides to the story and they both work together to make the story. All right? Remember, like, subscribe, share. We're going to see you guys on Thursday. Global State of Mind.